find that confidence is an important aspect of dealing with dyslexia?
I do find confidence is a big factor in dealing with dyslexia, because if you're sitting in a class and learning and not confident on what you're actually doing, it won't sink in. Even myself, that I found when I was on the course, when I started off, I wasn't that confident. So it took me a bit of time before I start building up my confidence and, well, this is going in.
Yeah.
So I start, building up, and things start coming easier because I was confident in that I'm actually learning now. The challenge of it as well, the more confident you grow, will go, well, now I can try something else. I've always wanted to try something well, but I have the skills now. I can go and attempt it at least.
Yeah.
And the more you attempt, the more you find out, well, I can actually do this, and well, I'll try something harder next time, and it just builds on from there. And
yeah. Margaret, you're nodding. You come across this a lot.
Yeah, I do, because when the students arrive first, they often have very little confidence and they're afraid to try new things. But when they're there a few months, they're amazed themselves at how much they'll try that they'd never have attempted before. Yeah. Writing is a huge problem for them. If they always say, how many lines have I to do? And in the end, they're writing pages and they forget that they were so shy about it.
Brilliant. Well, we'll be looking at more word building later on in the programme, but if you'd like to know more about what features in today's programme, there's a free workbook which has some exercises to help you. To get your free pack, you can free phone the number on your screen, 1800 20 20 65. That's 1800 20 20 65. Or you can visit our website, www.rug.ie. And don't worry if you didn't catch that, these contact details will be shown again at the end of the programme. Dean, are parent-teacher meetings still part of your school life?
Well, considering I'm a bit older than myself, I'll probably go in for them myself. But when I was in school, I tried everything I could to stop my mother from coming in, to find out how bad I was actually doing. But I do believe now it is a good factor, because at least then the parents can find out how their son or daughter is doing and try and help them themselves.
Yeah, and has it changed since your dyslexia was discovered?
My mother and my sister have been the best, help that I can get. So understanding and always inquisitive and what can help, it's...
Yeah, they're going to love you for this.
Oh, yeah.
Many schools have parent-teacher meetings during the year to offer you opportunities to learn more about your child's education, teacher and school. Sharing information and working together helps your child. What you have to say is important. You have information about your own child's strengths and talents and hobbies and interests that can help the teacher. Meetings work well when both parents and teachers work as partners to help children succeed in school. So here's a useful guide.
If you have a child at school, one way to know how they're getting on is through parent-teacher meetings. Tracy Francis, a teacher at St Patrick's Boys National School, explains.
The formal parent-teacher meetings are held once a year. It's usually after Christmas, before the midterm break in February. That just gives the teacher time to get to know the new class, and it also gives the children time to get settled into the school year. But of course the parents are welcome at any time, if they're concerned or worried about something. It's always open for them to come in and arrange to meet the teacher.
Aisling Waters is the mother of Colm, one of the pupils at the school. The school lets her know when the meeting is on.
They'll send you a note beforehand to ask you is it appropriate time for you to go down. You'll give them a couple of times that you can slot it, that you can slot in, and then they'll send you home a note back to say that they can fit you in at that time.
When the parent arrives at the school for the parent-teacher meeting, most of the classes in our school would have the names of the teachers written on the door.
I find I get like the butterflies when I'm arriving down. I said, what's she going to say? But now when you get down, then you meet the teachers. You just settle in and you just natter away.
Hi Aisling, how are you?
Pleased to meet you.
Thanks for coming in today. Would you like to sit
thanks
down
very
over
much,
there? Generally the parents don't have notes written down when they come in to see the teacher, but if they were worried that they were going to forget something important, they could always make a note. The parent could also discuss with the child and just say, I'm going in to see your teacher, is there anything that that you're worried about at school, or is there anything that you're finding difficult at school?
Hi, Aisling, nice to have you in today, and nice to be able to speak to you a little bit about Colm and his work at school.
Well, when you arrive first, she might be able to put the face with the child. So you'll say, I'm Colm's parent. She'll have all his books up, and she will talk first, tell you basically how the child is getting on.
He's a good listener and he's a good worker, which is always nice. I'm sure it's always nice for the parents to hear that. Yeah.
Personally, I would always try and start on a positive note, just mentioning something about the child in the classroom, a little bit about their personality and what it's like with having them in the classroom. And then you'd go through some of the areas of the curriculum, things like their reading, their English.
The books they've been doing, the work they've been doing in class, the drawings and stuff like that.
You know, going on to other things which the child might have strengths or weaknesses in.
That you could be helping.
She'll go through all that with you, and then you look at your books, and then she'll turn around and you'll ask if any questions then to ask the teacher.
If you have any concerns or worries, anything,
Yeah,
any questions?
Just, a bit on his letters.
As well as going to parent-teacher meetings, parents get a school report on their child's progress.
Some of the subjects that would be included in the report would be maths, English. The report is set out that the teacher is required to tick a box ranging from very good, fair. Then there'd also be a section for the teacher to write their own personal comments. An example of a positive comment could be just to say that they're coping well with the reading in school. Something more on the negative, it could be they're not concentrating, they're not managing to stay on task. You know, those would be probably the more common comments that teachers would write for something negative.
School reports are very good. It's just telling us basically how the child's gone on. Is there anything he needs to pull up on, or is he finding everything, and how he's actually getting on in the class?
School reports give parents a lot of information, but nothing can replace meeting their child's teacher face to face. So when you're invited to a parent-teacher meeting, make sure you go.
Margaret, you're of course dealing with adults. Is feedback important there in helping them progress in their learning?
Yeah, I like to know how they're doing, and they always tell me. So for instance, with the assistive technology that we use, I introduced them to maybe 6 or 7 different programs, but not every...
This is on the computer?
On the computer.
Yeah.
But not everything we use suits everybody, so we try to match the user to the technology. So they definitely let me know if something is no good, that's not for me, but I love this one.
Okay. Word games like Scrabble that we mentioned a few minutes ago, and there are others, Boggle and even crosswords, are a great way to build our confidence with words and parts of words. We saw earlier that sometimes words are made up of smaller words, and here are a few more examples.
Group of musicians found on a cart horse.
Bandstand.
With root words, you can also add bits to the start of words to make new words.
Not happy or joyful. 7 letters. Begins with a U, ends in a Y, and there's a H in it.
Unhappy.
Here we have the word unhappy. This is spelt by adding the letters U and N at the start of the word happy.
Respond to something. 5 letters. Or something CT.
React.
Here the word act is the root word. When we add RE to it, we get a new word, react, which means to do an action in response to something. Here are some more examples. Adding IN to correct, and you get incorrect, which means wrong or not correct. When we add DIS to the root word agree, we get disagree, which means you don't agree with something. And when we add under to the root word ground, we end up with the word underground. You can add bits to both the start and the end of a root word to make even more words. Take the word friend. We can add UN to the start of it and LY to the end, and you get unfriendly. Then there's the root word agree. When we put DIS in front of it and ABLE at the end of it, we get disagreeable, which means unpleasant or bad-tempered. And what about the word unsuccessful? This is made up of the root word success, with UN put in front of it, and FUL added onto the end. When you're reading and you come across a word that looks long and complicated, see if you can see a root word inside it that you know. This can be a good way to start figuring out what the word means and working out how to spell it when you're writing it down in the future. Take the word unsuitable. See the word suit in the middle of it? Suit means to be appropriate for something, so we can work out that unsuitable means that something isn't appropriate. Using root words to help you understand and spell longer words is a great way to build up the collection of words that you can read and spell.
And that's all we have time for today. We'd like to thank our guests for coming in. To Margaret Doyle, thanks very much, Margaret, for joining us. And to Dean Malone, and best of luck in the studies.
Thanks.
And Leaving Cert 2008, is it?
Yeah.
Next time we'll be doing a spot of DIY and also finding out how to write a cheque. In the meantime, here are the contact details again to get hold of your free student workbook that goes with the series.
For your free student pack and workbook, free phone 1800 20 20 65. That's 1800 20 20 65. Or you can go online and visit www.rug.ie or write to The Really Useful Guide to Words and Numbers, care of Nala, 76 Lower Gardner Street, Dublin 1.